Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? Welcome back to another React project with Firebase on my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we are going to build and deploy a fully responsive blog application with the help of React.js and Firebase. And in this project, we will be using Firestore to implement CRUD feature. So let's have a quick demo of this application which we will be building in this video. So first I'm going to log in with existing user that I have already in my Firebase. After login, user can create a blog. So you can see that on create blog page, each input field is unique. So let's give a title here. So I'm going to give here like dummy blog. Let's give a tag here like dummy. Let's mark it as trending. I'm going to select a category here, something random. Okay, let's give a long description, and I'm going to select one image file. So I'm going to select this image, and this button will be disabled until the image got uploaded on Firebase. So you can see that we got the message like image uploaded to Firebase successfully. Now let's click on submit. So you can see that our blog is created successfully. So you can see that this blog is created over here, and it is also showing in this carousel component. So we are also going to implement this carousel as well, and user can also delete or update blog. So he can delete or update his own blog. He cannot delete or update the blog which is created by different user. So you can see that this all blog is created by different user. So this blog is created by John Wick. So you won't see here delete and edit icon. So let's delete this blog, and if you click OK, the blog will get deleted. Okay, and we got the message as well like blog deleted successfully. And let's perform the update operation. So I'm going to click on this edit icon, and I'm just going to update the title here. Okay, and let's click on update. So you can see that our blog title got updated over here, and we have a detail page as well in this application if you wanted to read more about this particular blog. So you can see that we got here nice detail page. So let's go to the home page again, and here you can see that we got some more section like tags and most popular section. And if you click on this, so you will navigate towards the blog detail page, and this is our carousel component. So you can navigate like this way, and in this carousel component we are showing only trending blog. Okay, and we have a basic about page, you can see that, and this application is also responsive. So let's decrease the screen size. So I'm going to mobile mode here. So you can see that our application is fully responsive. So let's scroll down. So you can see that it is responsive, and if you click on read more, so this page is also responsive. And if you click on this bar, so our header link will show. Okay, so let's come out from mobile mode. So this is the overall application that we are going to build with the help of React and Firebase, and at the end we are going to deploy this application on Firebase. So you can see that this application is not running on localhost. So this is the overall blog application that we are going to build and deploy in today's video, and the source code of this project I will provide in the GitHub link, and I will also provide the image that I have used in this blog application. So before we start working on this project, if you haven't subscribed my channel, then please do subscribe this channel and like the video as well if you find out that this video is helpful. So let's start working on this project. So guys, now I'm going to do a project setup over here. So I'm into this directory, and I'm going to open a command prompt, and I'm going to create a React project, npx create React app, and the project name will be like Firebase blog app. Okay, something like this I'm going to give my project name. So it will take 2 to 3 minutes to install all the necessary dependency, So I'll be back once this process get complete. So guys, our project setup got completed over here. Now let's go into this directory, that is Firebase blog app. So let's go into this directory, and I'm going to install some package that is required in this project. So first I'm going to install those packages. So we are going to use here React Font Awesome. So let's install that one first, React Font Awesome. Then we need to install one tag component that we are going to use in this project. So I'm going to use this tag component, so path of dev, and it will be like this way. So you have to install this tag component this way. After that we need to install Firebase as well, because we are working with Firebase in this project. And we need to also install one package, React all carousel, and we need to also install here React router DOM, then React Toastify, and we need to install Sass as well, because we are going to use Sass in this project. So let's install all these packages first, and meanwhile I will open this project in my VS Code. So as you can see that I have opened project in my Visual Studio Code, and let's see our command prompt whether our package got installed or not. So it is still in progress. So now our package got installed, you can see that. So all those packages got installed, and I think I have forgot to install one package, that is Bootstrap. So I'm going to install that one as well. So and to install Bootstrap. So this is also installed. Okay, now let's do here first npm start. So our React development server is running, you can see that, and now it's load into our browser. So we don't have any issue. Now we are going to do a folder and file structure in this project. So first I'm going to create couple of folder here. So we need here components, then we need folder for pages, not inside component, sorry, let's delete this one. We have to create under source. So we are going to have pages folder, we are going to have one utility folder, and we are going to have one Firebase file here. So all the Firebase configuration we are going to store in this file, that is firebase.js. And next thing what we have to do, so first I'm going to create some file here. So we are going to have home.js. We are going to have one detail page for our blog, so detail.js. We are going to have one file for adding or editing the blog. So I am going to use the same page for adding or updating the blog. Then we are going to have one auth file where we are going to have our sign up and sign in form. So in the same file we are going to have both functionality for login and registration. Okay, and we are going to have one more file here, that is not found.js. okay, and we are going to have one basic about page, so about.js, and under source we are going to have one file related to Sass, so style.sass. okay, and we are going to have one more file related to CSS, which will be basically responsible for handling the responsiveness in our application. So we are going to have one media query, and under utility we are going to have one index.js file. So basic folder structure setup got completed over here. Now first I'm going to generate some snippet. in all this file. Okay, so one by one I'm going to generate some snippet in all these different pages that we have over here under this pages folder. So let's generate a snippet in detail page as well. Let's generate a snippet in home page as well. Okay, now after that what we have to do, so first I'm going to do some configuration inside this public folder. So I'm going to bring CDN for Bootstrap Font Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to use these two CDN, one for Bootstrap and one for Font Awesome. Okay, so let's save this one and we can quickly verify this one. So I'm just going to use here h2 tag. Okay, and I'm just going to bring here inside our app.js file. So I'm just going to remove all this thing, and here I'm just going to bring my home page. Now let's go into the browser. So it's look like working. So if you remove this CDN, so if you remove this Bootstrap CDN, so it will look something different. Okay, you can see that. And if you enable this one, then it will look like this. So that means this is working. Now after that what we have to do, so first let's configure React 25 as well, because we have installed that package as well in this project. So first I'm going to configure React 25. So we have to use these two import statement related to React 25. So the basic setup we have done in this project. So now I'm going to start working with our browser setup in this application. So I'm going to enable routing in this application. Then we will start working on other functionality like sign up, sign in. Okay. So first I'm going to enable routing in this application. So from React router DOM, I need to bring some component. So let's bring routes and route. So under routes, we are going to have our multiple routes. So route, let's define path. It will be home only, and we have to define element. And here we can use our home page. Now after that, we are going to have a detail page. So detail, a block detail page, and it will be based on ID. So here we need to bring that detail page. Now we are going to have one page to create block. So that will be like create, and the page will be add edit blog. Now we are going to have page for update. So we are using here same page, and we have to update based on the ID. Then we are going to have about page. So it will be about. Okay, so let's bring this about page. Now we are going to have one more route if URL is invalid. So for that I'm going to have that not found page over here. Now let's use this toast container as well. So it will be here only. So let's use your toast container. Now let's go to this index.js file, and here we have to bring browser router from React router DOM. Then only routing will be enabled in our application. So we have to wrap our app component with browser router. So this is done, and let's see in our console whether we have any issue or not. So we have one warning, so let's remove this unused import statement. Now let's go into the browser. So we got home here. Let's go to detail with some ID. So this is also working. So on this page we haven't used any tag, so that's why the font is different. And let's go to create. So this is also working. And if we give some random route, we got not found. So our all route is working in this application. So we have successfully able to configure routing in this application. Now what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to do some changes in our index.css file. So I'm going to use here font family poppins, and I have just given here line height 1.5. Let's go into the browser, and you can see that some font is getting changes. Okay, so I'm going to use this font. So this is done. Now I'm going to start working with our header component first. So first I wanted header in our application. So header.js, let's generate some snippet over here. Now after that, what we have to do here, so I'm going to use here nav with the class name navbar expand -lg navbar light and background light. Okay, now inside this nav we are going to have div with the class name container fluid bg -faded, then padding media, after that we are going to have one more div with the class name container padding -media. Then inside that I'm going to have nav with the class name navbar hyphen toggleable hyphen md navbar light. Now inside that I'm going to have button. So button will have a class name here, so it will be navbar hyphen toggler empty -3, and type will be button. Then we have to use here data vs toggle, and it will be collapse. Now we are going to have different data vs, so let's just copy this one first. So this will be data vs target. Okay, and this time you can give anything like navbar supported content. Now I'm just going to copy this one, and this time it will be parent. Okay, and this will be the same, and after that we can have area control. Okay, and we can give the same thing here without hash. Okay, then area expanded, and we can give here true. area label we can give here, that is toggle navigation. Okay, now inside that button I'm going to have a span tag with the class name fa bars. Okay, now we are going to have one div with the class name collapse, another class name navbar hyphen collapse, and inside that I'm going to have ul tag with the class name navbar hyphen nav me hyphen auto mb hyphen 2 mb hyphen lg. Okay, and here we have to give id, so id will be the same that we have over here, then only collapse will working. Okay, now inside this ul tag we are going to have couple of list items. So I'm going to have list with the class name nav item nav link. Okay, and first we are going to have like home. Okay, I am just going to copy this one, and this will be create, and this will be about. Okay, after this ul tag I am going to have here class name row g-3. Inside that again I'm going to have ul tag, so I'm just going to copy this one. Let's copy entire thing. We can remove this id here, and this will be like login and logout, so I can just remove this one, and for now I can just have login. Let's remove this one because later we are going to implement authentication, so it will be either login or logout at a time. So let's remove this one. So basic header component is ready over here. Now we have to add the styling in our Sass file. Okay, so here I'm just going to do a copy paste the styling for our header component. So we are going to start with the header. So I'm going to use all this styling for our header component. You can copy all this styling by pausing this video, and we need to add some more thing, some global styling in our Sass file. So I'm just going to put them as well. So this is some global styling I'm going to use over here. Okay, so you can pause this video if you wanted to copy all this styling, because later we are going to use all this box shadow clip path transition. Okay, and we have to bring our Sass file in our app.js file. So here what we have to do, so I'm going to bring our Sass file as well as media query file. Okay, so we can verify this one. So in order to verify we have to bring that header component here. So let's bring that header component that we have created. Now let's go into the browser. So we are getting this issue. So we have installed wrong package over here. Okay, so it will be Sass. Okay, and install dash save, and it will be Sass. Okay, double S. So by mistake I installed this incorrect package in this project. So package got installed. So let's restart this React server. So now we don't have any issue after restarting our React development server. So let's go into the browser. So now we have got this one. So I think I have forgot to bring the style sheet for this font pop-ins. You can see that in our index.css file, I have used font family pop-in. So we have to also bring the style sheet in our index.html file for this pop-ins font family. So we have to bring this style sheet. Now let's go into the browser. So now you can see that this is looking good. Now next thing what we have to do, so we have to put a active styling. If you are in home page, okay, if you are in create page, then this header link will get active. If you are in about page, then this header link will get active. So we have to achieve that functionality in this application. So for that what we have to do, so let's go to this app.js file, and from React I need to bring here use state. So from React we need to bring use state, and I'm going to achieve this active styling from our parent component, that is app. So active, set active, use state, and by default our home page will be active. So I'm just giving here home, and I can pass here set active as a props, okay, and active also we have to pass. Now let's go into this header component, and since we have to also navigate, if you click on create or about, so we have to bring here link from our React router DOM. So from React router DOM we need to bring link. So here I'm going to use link for all list item, okay. So let's put here, and it will be basically navigate to home page, and here we have to give some inline styling, text decoration none, and we are going to have a on click method here. So if you click on home, then we have to make home header link active, okay. And this class name also we have to adjust. So here what we have to do, so here we have to check like if active. So we haven't bring, I guess, here active and set active. So let's bring that active and set active. Now here we have to check like if active is equal to home, then we have to use the active class name. Basically I am appending the active class name over here, else it will be empty. Let's format this one, and let's go into the browser first. So you can see that this header link got active. Now the same thing we have to do for other header link as well. So let's just copy this one, okay. It will be almost same for other link. So let's just paste it over here. It will be create, it will be create, and this will be create. Okay, let's do the same thing for about. If it's matched with about, then about will get active, and we have to do the same thing for login as well. So for login, I wanted to navigate towards auth, and it will be, let's give here login. Okay, and this will be login, and we have to mention the route here, so it will be about, and this will be the create. Let's go into the browser and verify this one whether it's working or not. So let's click on create. So this is working, this is working, so everything is working as expected. So we are done with the header component as of now. Later we will have to adjust this header component once we implement the authentication in this application. The next thing I wanted to work on authentication part in this application. So first we have to basically configure our authentication in our Firebase. So first we have to create a project, then only we can enable the authentication. So I'm going to this Firebase console and I'm going to add a project over here. So let's give here project name like React Blocks app. Okay, let's click on continue. If you want to enable Google Analytics, you can enable. I don't want this one. Let's click on create project. It will take 1 minute to set up our project. So let's wait for the project setup. Now our project is ready. Let's click on continue. So first we have to go to this web. So we have to click on this web, and let's give the same application name here, that is React Blocks app. Let's do this one as well. Let's click on the register app. Now we got this Firebase configuration, so let's just copy this one and we have to paste it inside this firebase.js file. Let's go back to browser and let's click on next. We will deploy this application later. Okay, now let's click on continue to console. After that we have to enable authentication. So let's click on this authentication. Let's click on get started. And I'm going to use here email password. Okay. Let's click on enable and let's click on save. So this one is enable in our Firebase console, and at the moment we don't have any user. After that I'm also going to enable this Firestore database. So let's do that one as well. Let's click on create database. You can use here production mode. Let's click on next. Let's click on enable. Our Firestore database is created over here. Now we have to edit the rule as well. So let's go to this rule, and here we have to do one slide changes. So let's make it true. Okay, and let's click on publish. Now we will able to add, delete or update any data in this Firestore database. So this one is completed now. Now after that what we have to do, so let's go back to our VS Code first. So here also we have to do some configuration related to Firestore database and our authentication part. So first we have to bring the initialize app from our Firebase app. So from Firebase app we need to bring this initialize app. Then we need to bring get Firestore from Firebase Firestore. So we need to bring this get Firestore. After that, we also need to bring the storage because we are going to upload the image as well. So from Firebase storage, okay, we need to bring this get storage, and we also need to bring auth as well from our Firebase auth. So from Firebase auth, we need to bring get auth. After that, what we have to do, so we have to first initialize our app. So const app is equal to initialize app, and we have to pass this Firebase configuration. Then we have to also initialize our auth. So get auth, and we have to pass this app. Then we have to also initialize our DB. So get Firestore, and here also we have to pass app, and the same thing we have to do for storage as well. Get storage, and then export. So we can export all this thing, auth, DB, and storage. Now we have to also do one more configuration related to uploading the image in Firebase. So sometime you may face issue to upload an image in Firebase storage. So you have to come over here, that is Google Cloud Platform, and here you have to search your project. Our project is created with React Blocks app. So first I am going to search my project here. So this is our project that we have created, and after that what you have to do, so you have to search cloud storage, and you have to click on cloud storage, and here you have to select this one, and you have to add one principal here. So let's click on add principal, and the principal we have to add here. So this one you have to select. After that, here you have to select the role. So role will be storage admin. So you have to select this cloud storage, select this storage admin, then click on save. So we have updated our policy in order to upload image in our Firebase storage. So we are done with this configuration. So we can close this one. Now let's go back to VS Code. So our Firebase configuration got completed over here. Now next thing, I wanted to start working with our sign in and sign up functionality in this application. So I'm going to start working with the auth.js file, where we are going to have both form, that is login and registration. Okay, so let's work on this auth.js file. So first I will start with our sign in form. So here what we have to do, so I'm going to define a initial state here. And we are going to have email, password, and we have and we have to also bring use state from React. And here let's define our state, set state, and we can pass here initial state. We are going to have one more state which will determine whether we are in sign in form or sign up form. So sign up, and set sign up, and by default it will be false. Now we have to destructure this email and password from our state. email and password. After that, I am going to work on our form component for our sign in. So here I am going to have div with the class name container fluid and mb-4. We are going to have one more div with the class name container only, and we will have one more div with the class name col-12 text center, and we are going to have one div with the class name text center heading py-2. And here we have to determine if you are not in sign up mode, then it will be sign in, okay, else it will be sign up form, okay. After this div, we are going to have one div with the class name row h-100, then it will be like justify content center. So this is bootstrap class name I am using over here, and align item center. After that, we are going to have one more div with the class name col-10 col md8 col lg-6. Then we are going to have our form, which will have class name row, and here we are going to have our input field. So here we can use div with the class name col-12 py-3, and inside that I'm going to use input, and type will be email. Class name I'm going to use here form control, and one more class name I'm going to use here like input text box, and placeholder we are going to have here email. So let's format this one, and after that I'm going to have name, so it will be email, then value, it will be email, and we are going to have an on change method, so this will be handle change. Let's define here, otherwise we will get error. Const handle change, this will receive event. After that I can just do copy this div one more time, because we are going to have one password field as well. So this will be password, placeholder will be password, name will be password only. Let's give value password. So this two input field is completed. Now after this div, we are going to have one more div with the class name col-12 py-3 and text center, and here I'm going to use button. So button will be having a class name btn, and here we have to determine whether we are in sign up or sign in form. So the color of button will change for sign in and sign up form. So here first we are going to have a btn, which is a common class name for both button, And here we have to determine, like, if you are in sign in page, that means we have to give this class name, that is btn sign in, else btn sign up. Okay, and type will be submit. Let's format this one, and the value of button will also determine based on this sign up. So if you are not in sign up form, that means we are in sign in form, so the value of button will be sign in, else the value of button will be sign up. Now after this form, we are going to have div, and here we have to determine, like, if you are not in sign up, that means user is on sign in form, and here we can give a message like, if you don't have account, then you can create an account. So something like that we can give message. So here I'm going to have div with the class name text center. Again I'm going to have this justify content center, and empty -2 padding top -2. Okay, so inside this div I'm going to have p tag with the class name small f w -bold empty -2 pt -1 mb -0, and here we can keep a message like don't have an account. So in that case user can click on sign up. So I'm going to have a span tag with the class name link danger, and here we have to give some inline styling as well. So let's give text decoration none and cursor pointer, and here we can give like sign up. After that we have to also write the condition for else part as well. So here we can have fragment, and here we can just copy all this styling. Okay, so you can just copy this one, we can paste it over here. So if you are in sign up form, in that case I wanted to show a message like already have an account, then basically you can click on sign in. So in that case it will be sign in, and I wanted to specify color here only. So color I can give here like 298 AF2 because I'm not going to use this class name. After that I'm going to have on click method here. So it will basically change the state of sign up. So if you click on this sign up, so this will become true, and for sign in we have to basically make it false. So let's give false, and let's also define the logic in our handle change. So in handle change it's receiving event, so set state, I'm going to spread out a state, and here it will be e.target.name e.target.value. Now we have to also add the styling in our Sass file as well for some of the class name that I have used inside this file. So let's go to this style.sass CSS, and here we have to add the styling for the class name that I have used in auth.js file. So here all the form related styling will go here. So we have to add this styling and we have to add some more styling. So this styling also we have to add for our button. So let's save this one and let's go into the browser. Let's click on this login. So we haven't registered route, I guess. I think some route mismatching. Let's go back to our VS Code. So first let's check our routing in our app.js file. Okay, so for auth we haven't added the route, so we can just copy this one. It will be auth and we have to bring auth. Now let's go back to browser. So now here you can see that we have got our form, and let's click on sign up. Okay, so this is working, you can see that, but we have to add some additional input field for our sign up. Okay, so here we have to give some space between this message and this link. Okay, so we can give a space here like NBSP. Okay, let's see whether it's working or not. So we got some space. Same thing we can add over here as well. Let's go back to browser. Let's click on sign up. So we got some space. Okay, so sign in form is completed now. So now I'm going to work on our sign up form. So we have to add those additional input field. So first I'm going to have here like first name and last name for our sign up form. Last name, and let's also give here confirm password as well. Let's destructure this additional input field, that is first name, last name, and confirm password. After that, what we have to do, so here we have to check like if we are in sign up, then only we have to add those input field. Okay, so here we have to check if you are in sign up, then only add additional input field. So here I'm going to have a fragment first, and I can just copy this input field. So let's copy this div, entire div, and here we can give type text. Placeholder will be like first name, name will be first name only, value will be first name. Let's copy this one, and this column will be 6. Okay, now let's copy this one, let's paste it over here. So this will be last name, this will be last name, and this will be last name. Now we have to add one more input field for confirm password. So we can copy this div and we can just paste it here below. Let's keep type password only. Placeholder will be confirm password, and name let's give confirm password, value will be confirm password. So I think we are done. Let's verify this one in browser. So we are getting confirm password and sign in as well. So this will basically display only in sign up form. So here again we have to use that sign up state. So here we can use like if you are in sign up, then only so this confirm password field. So we can just copy this div and we can just paste it over here. Now let's go to the browser. So now we are not seeing that confirm password field on our sign in form. Let's click on sign up. So now here we got our additional input field, that is first name, last name and confirm password field. So we have completed here our sign in and sign up form. Now we have to implement the sign up and sign in functionality with the help of Firebase in this application. So at the moment we don't have any user in our Firebase. So first I am going to implement the sign up feature with Firebase in this application. So what we have to do over here, so this form will have one on submit method, and we are going to have one method called handle auth. So let's define this one. So const handle auth, and this will be async, okay? And it will receive an event. So first we have to prevent the default behavior of browser. So e.prevent default. After that we have to first check like if you are not in sign up, then perform the sign in functionality. So we will write the logic later. Let's write the logic in else part for sign up functionality. So here first we have to check like if password and confirm password field is not matching, then in that case I'm just wanted to return a toast message. So return toast dot error, and we can give a message like password do not match, okay? And I also wanted to configure the position of our toast message. So here we can give a position and it will be top center, okay? Now let's go to this auth.js file. So this is our first check, okay? Now here we have to do one more check like if all field is provided by our user, that is first name, last name, email and password, then we are good to sign up this user in our Firebase. So here what we have to do, so await create user with email and password, and here we can pass our auth which is coming from our Firebase. So VS Code automatically import all this thing for me. You can see that auth is imported automatically. This one is also imported automatically. So you have to check this one if it's not imported automatically for you. Now we have to pass here email and password. Now here we will get our user, okay? After getting the user, what we have to do, so we have to also update the profile because we are storing this first name and last name. So we have to update the username as well. So in Firebase we update the profile name like this way. So await update profile, and here we have to pass this user and we have to basically update our display name, okay? So display name, and here we can combine our first name and last name. So first name we can give some space and last name. So after successful sign up we have to basically navigate back to our home page. So here from React router DOM we need to bring use navigate. So from React router DOM we can bring use navigate, and first we have to store the reference of use navigate into a navigate variable, and we have to also make this header home to active. So here also we have to pass set active. So let's go to this app.js file and here we have to pass this set active. So this one also we have to do, and it's going to receive this set active. And now here we can use set active and it will be home, because we are navigating back to our home page after successful sign up. After this we have to navigate, so we can navigate after this else, because in both cases we have to navigate whether we are doing sign up or sign in, because it will be common for both scenario. And let's remove this extra space and let's write else condition as well for this if scenario. Okay, so we can return here toast dot error. So if any input field is left empty by user, so I'm just going to show a message like all fields are mandatory. All fields are mandatory to fill. So this message I wanted to show to user. Now let's save this file and verify in browser. So let's go back to browser, refresh this one first, and let's click on this sign up. Now let's add one user here, John Doe. So in last name I'm not able to write anything, so let's go back to VS Code. So let's see what is happening. So last name, I think, okay, extra T is here. Let's go back to browser and let's give here Doe, John Doe @gmail.com, and let's first click on sign up. So we are getting here message like all fields are mandatory, and let's give password 123456 and let's give only 1234. Let's click on sign up. Now this time I'm getting password do not match. Now let's give 56 and let's click on sign up. So I think it is working, so we can verify this one in our Firebase. So let's go to this authentication. So you can see that we have successfully able to add our first user in Firebase. So sign up functionality is completed in our application, and let's work on our sign in functionality. So let's go back to this login, and to implement the sign in functionality again we have to write some logic. So now I'm going to start working on our sign in functionality in this application. So inside this if condition I'm going to write that sign in functionality, because if this sign up is false, that means user is doing sign in our application. So for signing the user, first we have to check if we have the email and password value, then only we are going to allow user to sign in this application. So again I'm going to use here const and await, and here we can use sign in with email and password, and here we have to pass auth, email and password, and we are going to get our user here. After this we can do like set active to home, and after that we have to also write else condition. So I can just copy this one, let's paste it over here, and let's go into the browser and verify whether we are able to log in into our application or not. So first I'm going to refresh this one, and I'm going to log in with the email John Doe, and let's give password 123456. Let's click on sign in. So now you can see that we are successfully able to log in into our application. So sign in and sign up functionality is completed in our application. Now we have to also persist this logged in user in our application, and we need some user information as well, like display name. So what we can do over here, So let's go to this app.js file. So I'm going to define one state over here, that is user, and set user, and we are going to have use state, and initially it will be null. We need to bring use effect from our React. So use effect we need to bring, and we have to run one use effect here. So in use effect, what we have to do, so here we have our auth, which is coming from our Firebase, and here we have to use one method on auth state changed. We are going to receive our auth user, and here we can check if we have the auth user, then we can set this user to our auth user, else we can just set user to null. Now this user we have to provide to our header component. Okay, so let's go to our header component, and we are receiving here user, and we need user ID. So we have to determine whether user is logged in or not in our application. So user ID, and here we can do like user dot uid. So in Firebase, user ID is stored with the uid. So we can also check this one. So you can verify this one. So user ID, and we can also check whether our display name is showing or not. So let's check here as well. So we can get this one like user dot display name. Let's go into the browser. Let's refresh this one. So now you can see that we got our user ID and name. So we have to show this name in our header. So let's go back to our VS Code, and here we have to basically determine, like, if we have the ID, that means user is logged in our application. So basically we have to adjust our header component over here. So here we can check, like, if we have the user ID, that means user is logged in our application. And here we can use one div with the class name profile logo. So I'm going to add one dummy image. So here I'm going to have image. So in source I'm going to put one dummy image URL. So this URL I'm going to use over here. In alternate we can give logo. So in else part we can just cut this one, and we can paste it over here. After that, what we have to do, so we are going to have some inline styling for this image. So width I'm going to give here 30 pixel. Height I'm going to give 30 pixel only. Border radius I'm going to give 50%, and margin top I'm going to give 12 pixel. Now after this div I'm going to have one p tag, okay, where I'm going to show the display name, that is the name of logged in user. So it will be like user dot display name, and here we can give some inline styling. So style margin top, it will be 12 pixel, and margin left I'm going to give 5 pixel. After that I'm going to have one list item here with the class name nav item nav link, and inside that I'm going to have logout. So let's save this one and let's go into the browser first. Now you can see that we are getting our profile name over here, John Doe, and we got logout. So we have adjusted our header component. Now we have to work on our logout functionality in this application. So that too also we are going to handle in our app.js file only. So let's go to this app.js file. And here I'm going to have one function called handle logout. So the function will be handle logout only. And here we can use sign out method from our Firebase auth. And here we can pass our auth. And here we can use then. So I'm using then because if you wanted to do some more thing after signing out from this application, so I wanted to set user to null and set active will be login and navigate. So I'm going to use here navigate. So here we have to bring use navigate as well. So once user click on logout, so he will basically get logout from the application. So in that case, we have to also make this set user to null, and we have to make our header link to active, and we have to navigate to our auth page, that is sign in form. So that's why I'm bringing here use navigate. You can see that. So let's first store the reference of use navigate into navigate variable, and then we can navigate towards auth. Now we can pass this handle logout to our header component. Now let's go to this header component, and here we can bring our handle logout, and we can remove this to console log, and we have to use this handle logout here inside this list. So on click and we can have handle logout. Let's save this file and let's go into the browser. First refresh this one. So you can see that our user is persisting in this application after refreshing this application. Now let's click on logout. Now it's become login. So logout functionality is also working. Let's try one more time. So I'm going to log in with johndoe@gmail.com. Let's click on sign in. So this is all working. You can see that. So now we have completed the logout functionality as well in this application. So next thing, we are going to start working on our creating blog in this application. So now we are going to start working on creating blog in our application. So from React, we need to bring use state first, and we need to bring React tag input from this package that we have installed, and we have to also bring the CSS file for this tag input. So what we can do over here, so you have to bring this CSS file for this React tag input component, and we also need here use effect. Okay, and let's define here initial state for our form. So I'm going to have a title for our blog, then tags, which will be a initially empty array, and we are going to have a trending. So you can mark it your blog whether it is a trending or not. So by default it will be no, and we are going to have a category which will be empty initially, and description. Now after that I am going to paste the category option that we are going to have in our drop down. So in this application, I'm going to use this much category. So you can modify this category as per your convenience. Now here I'm going to define one state. So form set form use state, and we can pass here initial state. Then we are going to have a state for our file as well. Set file use state, initially it will be null, and we can destructure all this state value. So from form we can destructure our title tags category. Okay, so title tags category trending description. Okay, now let's work on our form component first, then we will work on functionality to add blog in this application. So let's remove this one, and I'm going to have a div with the class name container fluid mb-4. Then again I'm going to have div with the class name container only, and inside that I'm going to have one more div with the class name col-12 text center, and here I'm going to have heading like create blog. So I'm going to have one more div with the class name text center, and here we can have one more class name, that is heading py-2, and here we can remove this text center, it's not required, and here we can give the heading like create blog. So first we can check this one. Let's click on create. So we got this create blog. After this div, what we have to do, so I'm going to have one more div with the class name row h-100 justify content center align items center. Then I'm going to have a class name with the col-10 col md8 and col lg6. Now we are going to have a form with the class name row blog form. Okay, let's remove this action, we don't need this one. Now inside this form I am going to have a div with the class name col-12 py-3. So first we are going to have an input field, so I can just copy from our this auth.js file. So let's copy this one, and I'm going to paste it over here. So placeholder will be title, name will be title, value will be title, and this handle chain will stay as it is. So we can copy this one and we can create one function here. It's also going to receive a event. So first input field is ready. After this we are going to have one more div. So I have just formatted this one. So the second field will be our React tag component. So we can just get rid of this and we can use here React tag input, and here we have to pass tag. Placeholder we can give here tags, and we want having an onChange method, So for this I'm going to write handle tags. Okay, so let's define this one as well outside this return. Let's format this one. After this div we are going to have a radio button, so let's just copy this one and let's remove this one. And here we are going to have a p tag with the class name trending, and we can give like, is it trending blob? Now after this we are going to have our radio button, so we can give here a div with the class name form check inline mx-2. Then we are going to have our radio button, so I can just copy this input field and type will be radio, class name will be like form check input, placeholder is not required. Let's give here value yes, and we can remove this value. Okay, name we can give here radio option, and on change we can have different on change method here, so it will be handle trending. After that we are going to have checked method here, so we can check like if trending is yes, then select this radio button. So let's define this one as well outside return. So I'm just going to copy this one and this will be handle trending. Now after this input I'm going to have a label with the class name form check label, and here we can give radio option, and label we can give here yes, and we wanted some space, so I can use here nvsp. So this one is done, and same thing we can do for no as well. So we are going to have a two radio button here, yes and no. So let's just copy this one, and this will be no, this will be no, and this will be no. Okay, and here we don't need this space. Okay, now after this div, so this div is closing here, I guess. Yes, so after this div we are going to have a drop down, so we can just copy this one and we can remove this one, and here we are going to use a select for drop down, and we can have a class name category drop down. Okay, and here we can remove all this thing we don't need. Here we need value, the value we can give here category, and we are going to have on change. So for this also we are going to use different on change method, that is on category change. So let's define this one as well outside return. Let's copy this one, so now inside this select we are going to have our default option first, like option and we can have like please select category. Then we have defined this category option. You can see that outside this functional component. So we are going to use here map to show this category in drop down. So category option dot map, and here we can use option index, and we can use here option and value. So value will be option and it will be empty here. Okay, and we have to also provide the key. So let's give key here index only, and inside that we can show our option. So category part is also done. Now below this category drop down, we are going to have a text area in which we are going to write a description about blog. So we are going to use here text area. So again we can have div with the class name col 12 py-3, and here we can use text area. So text area, and we can have here class name form control, and we can give one more styling here description box. Placeholder will be description, value will be description only, name will be description. So we can copy this one and we can just use it over here. And for this on change, we are going to have the same handle change. Okay, now below this text area we are going to have our input file. So let's have a class name mb-3, and here I'm going to use input with the class name form control. So type will be file because we have to upload a image, and here we can have on change. So we are going to write on change logic here only. So set file, and you can get this file whenever you upload any image file at 0th index. So e.target.file, so it will contain a single array of objects. So you can access that object at 0th index because it contain only one single array of object. So this is also done. Now after this div, we are going to have one more div with the class name col-12 py-3, then text center, and we are going to have a button with the class name btn add, and the value of button will be the submit, and here type will be also submit. Okay, now I'm going to add the styling for this different class name in our Sass file. So let's go to this Sass file. So inside this form only I'm going to add those styling. So we have to add this styling. You can see that for all these different class name that I have used inside this file, and we have to add some more styling for other class name as well. So we have to also add the styling for this class name as well. So let's go into the browser first and see whether it's working or not. So now you can see that we got our form component over here for creating blog. So we have a title, tags, category, description, and this file input. So our create blog form is almost ready to create blog in this application. So before we start creating any blog in this application, we have to first work on our uploading the image file in Firebase. So what we have to do first, so let's go back to our VS Code and let's go to this file, and here we have to run one use effect, and this use effect only run when we have the file. Okay, and here we are going to have one function called upload file, and inside that first we have to define a storage reference. So storage reference, and here we have to use ref which is coming from our Firebase storage, and we have to pass here storage which is coming from our Firebase file. Okay, so VS Code automatically import all this thing for me. So you can see that at top, so ref is not coming. So let me see why ref is not coming. So now ref is coming. Okay, you can see that. So it's coming from our Firebase storage, and here we have to pass file dot name. After that we have to define one upload task equal to, so here I'm going to use upload bytes resumable, and we can pass here storage ref, and file also we have to pass. After that upload task dot on, here we can give state change, we're gonna have snapshot, and here we have to check progress. So for progress we can define one state here, progress, set progress. After this let's define progress is equal to snapshot dot bytes transfer, snapshot dot total bytes, simply multiply into 100, so you will get a progress. Okay, like it will start from 1 to 100. So we have to check progress over here. So once progress reach towards 100, then only we can allow to upload a blog with image. So that's the reason I am using here this way. So here we can set the progress. So once progress reach towards 100, then only we can allow to upload a blog with the image. And after that we have to use your switch and snapshot dot state. So we are going to receive a different case. So in case it is paused, okay, so we are going to receive a pause state, and we can just simply give one console log like upload is paused. We are going to have one more case like running, so we can give here console like upload is running, and we have to give here break, and we are going to have default break. Let's format this one. Now after this we can have error. Okay, so if we have an error, then we can simply do like console.log, and we can paste our error. Now after this what we have to do, so we are going to have one function and inside this we can use here get download URL, and we can have upload task dot snapshot dot ref. We can use here. Then now we will get here our URL, so download URL, and we can use here set form. We can use here previous, and we can just do a spread out, and we can have here image URL, and we can just use here download URL. Okay, so this function will run if we have the file. So we have to run this function, that is upload file. Okay, so this upload file is completed over here, and we can test this one in our browser. So let's go into the browser and just upload one file here only. So I'm going to upload one image to test this functionality, whether our uploading image in Firebase is working or not. So let's go to here and let's open this storage, whether we have got our first image or not. So we are not seeing image. So we are getting this issue because we forget to update the rule in our Firebase. So here also we have to update rules. So let's do these changes. So we have to do the same thing that we have done for this Firestore database. So here we have to give true, then only it will work. So let's click on publish. So now it's got published. So let's refresh this application and upload once more time. So let's upload this image. So now you can see that we are getting upload is running. So let's go back to here, files, whether it's got uploaded or not. So now you can see that it's got uploaded, and here we are not getting the percentage. So I think we have missed something. So let's go back to our VS Code. So we can just put this console. Okay, so we can track down like how much is got progress. So let's upload the image again. So I'm going to refresh this application and let's upload this image again. So now you can see that we are getting upload is 0% done. Now we got upload is 100% done. Okay, so once the upload progress is between 0 and 100%, then we have to make this button disable. So let's do that one as well before creating blog in our application. Here we have button, and we can use here like disabled, and we can check here like if progress not equal to null and progress is less than 100, then this button will be disabled. Okay, so let's go into the browser and let's refresh this one again. Let's upload this image. So now you can see that this button is disabled. So once it's reached towards 100%, then only it will become enable. So now we are good to go to create a blog with image in this application using Firestore database and storage. Now let's start working on creating a blog in this application along with image. So before we add any blog, I just wanted to do some modification. So for this drop down and trending, let's use the same method, that is handle change. So I'm just going to use the same method for this radio button and drop down. Okay, so here what we have to do, so handle trending is not change. Okay, also we have to put here, okay, handle change. So let's write the logic for this handle change first. So set form, let spread out form, then e dot target dot name, e dot target dot value, and for tags we are going to receive tags, and here also we have to set the form, and we have to just pass tags. Okay, so let's save these changes and first see whether we are able to see all the value or not in our form. So I'm just going to give here title something blog. Let's add some tag test blog. Let's select this one. So it is not selecting. Okay, so let me see what's going wrong. Okay, let's use this one. Okay, so we are going to receive event, and let's set the form. So I'm going to spread out the form, and trending it will be e dot target dot value. Okay, and let's use handle trending here. So it will be handle trending, and for drop down I think also we have to use that one. So for category change we have to do that way only. So it's going to receive an event, and for this also we can use this way, set form. Let's spread out our form, and category e dot target dot value. Let's use this on category change here in drop down. Let's save this file and let's go into the browser. First I'm going to refresh this one. Let's give here title like blog only. Let's give test. Let's select this one. So now it is selecting. Let's select any one. Let's give here test only. Let's select one image. Now we have to verify our form state. I have already put the console. So here we have our form object. So you can see that we got all the value in each respective field, that is category, description, image, URL, tags, title, trending. So everything is working now. So this data now we have to push to our Firestore database. So we have to write logic in our handle submit. So let's go to VS Code, and here we have to define on submit method first. Okay, and let's give the method name handle submit. Let's define this handle submit outside this return. So const handle submit, and this will be async, and it will receive an event. So again here first I'm going to prevent the default behavior of browser. After that, first I'm going to check whether each value is provided by our user or not into each respective input field. If category has a value, if we have value in tags. So likewise I'm going to do for each input field. So we have title, we have files as well, then description we have, and we have one more thing, that is trending. Okay, so if we have all the value in this different input field, then only I am allowed to create a blog. So here we can use try catch, and I'm going to use await, and I'm going to use here add doc, which is coming from our Firebase Firestore. So VS Code automatically import, and we have to also bring collection, and we have to pass here DB, which is coming from our Firebase file, and here we have to pass the collection name. So currently at the moment, if you check our database, so you can see that we don't have any collection name here. So you can give any collection name whatever you want. So I'm going to give here blocks. I'm just going to spread out form. Okay, and I also need to add timestamp. So I'm going to use here servers timestamp, and we have to also need to give here author, so which user is created, so his name along with his ID. So we are not receiving here user in this component, you can see that. So we have to go back to our app.js file, and we have to pass this user. Okay, so this user we have to pass down to this page, that is add edit blog. So we have to pass this user, then only we will get that display name and user ID. So now here it's gonna receive user. Okay, and here we can use like this way, user dot display name, and user ID also I'm going to store. So user dot UID. Okay, and we have to also write the catch. So I'm just going to put a console log. So console.log error. Okay, so let's save this one. So this is completed over here. Now we can create a blog in our browser. So let's go into the browser. Just going to refresh this one, and I'm going to log in with our user, that is John Doe. So we are logged in. Let's click on create. So I'm going to create a fashion blog over here. So fashion blog, let's give here style tag fashion, and let's make it trending, this blog. And I'm going to select category fashion. Let's keep some long description over here. So I'm going to give this description, and let's select image here. So this is a fashion blog, so I'm going to select a fashion photo, and let's click on submit, and we can verify this one in our Firestore database. So now you can see that we got one document in this blog collection, and you can see that we have the same detail that we have provided from this form. Okay, so we have two tags, style fashion, we got image URL, we got timestamp, title, trending, user ID, and we also got author, that is John Doe. Okay, so this is working. So we have successfully able to add our blog in Firestore database. Now we have to add few more stuff in our code. So after clicking on submit, we should navigate towards this home page, and this create page should not be accessible if user is not logged in. So let's do that one. So first we need to bring use navigate from React router DOM. Let's store the reference of use navigate into a navigate variable. So we can use this navigate here. So let's save this file and add one more block. So I'm just going to create a sport block here. So let's see here, sports block. Okay, let's give here football, and this will be no only. So let's select here sports. Let's add description here, one long description again. So I can just copy this one. Let's paste it over here. Let's remove this double quotes, and I'm going to select one file related to sports. So let's select this one. Now this is disabled. Now we can click on submit. So now we have successfully able to move to our home page after creating this blog, and here also we got our blog. You can see that this is a sports blog which is created by John Doe. Now we have to also protect this one, create link. So suppose if I am log out from this application, so whenever user click on this create, he should navigate back to home page. Okay, so let's do that one as well. So I'm just going to protect our create link here when user is not authorized in our application. So we can simply do like this way. So we have to bring here navigate, and we can check this one. If you have the user ID, that means user is logged in. So in that case, I wanted to navigate towards the create blog page, and else we can just navigate towards the home page. Okay, and same thing I wanted to do for this update scenario as well. So let's copy this one, and we can just paste it over here. Okay, let's remove this extra brackets, curly brackets, and here we can do like this way, user dot id. So it will first check. So this is a shortcut of doing like this way. So instead of doing like this way, so we can do this way. Okay, so this is a shortcut, that's why I'm using here question mark. So let's save this one, and let's go into the browser, and if you click on create, you will navigate back to the home page. But this create link is still active in header, so we will fix that one once we start working on our home page. So creating a blog is completed with the help of Firestore Database in this React application. Now we are going to start working on our home page. So you can see that in Firestore we have already couple of blog. So we are going to display this blog on our home page. So guys, let's start working on our home page because we have already couple of blog in our Firestore database. So let's start working on this page. So let's go back to the VS Code first. So first I'm going to design our home page. So this div is gonna having a class name container fluid with padding bottom -4, padding top -4, and there will be one padding class name as well. Now inside this div we are going to have one more div with the class name container and another class name that is padding. Now we are going to have one more div with the class name row mx-0, and inside this div we are going to have our trending section. So we will work on trending part later. Now after this we are going to have one more div with the class name col-md-8 col-md-8, and inside this div we are going to have our blog section. So in which we are going to show our daily blogs. So we will write the component. Okay, first let's design our home page. Now after this div, we are going to have one more div with the class name call md-3, and here we are going to have our tags. Okay, and most popular section. So one by one section we are going to cover. Okay, so first I'm going to start with the blog section, then tags, then most popular section, and at last we will work on trending. So let's save this one first and see how it's look like our home page. So now you can see that in this part we are going to have our trending section, in which we are going to use carousel to display our blogs, and here we are going to have our all blog in this blog section, and here we have a tags and most popular section. So we are going to start first working with this blog section component. So let's work on this blog section component. So in the component folder we are going to have one file, that is blog section .js, and I'm going to generate a snippet here. So here first I'm going to bring font awesome from React Font Awesome, and we also need link from React Router DOM. So from React Router DOM we need to bring link, and this blog section will receive some props from our home page, that is blogs. It's going to receive user. Okay, now we are going to have one div. So let's just give one div here, and we are going to have one more div with the class name blog heading. Then we are going to have class name text start. Then we are going to have py-2 mb-4, and this is heading daily blogs. After this div we are just going to map our blogs, okay, that we are receiving from our home page. Okay, so blog dot map, and I'm going to map each blog item, and here I'm going to have one div with the class name row pb-4, and here I'm going to use key as well, otherwise we will get warning in console. Now inside this div we are going to have class name call -md5. Then inside this div we are going to have a class name over blocks image. Okay, now inside this div we are going to have one more div with the class name blocks-image, and inside that I'm going to use image. So source we can use here item.image URL. Okay, and in alternate we can use title item.title, and inside this we are just going to have some empty div. Okay, we are going to have one more div with the class name call md-7, and inside this div we are going to have a div with the class name text start. So text start is a bootstrap class name, and inside that we are going to have a 6 tag with the class name category, and we are going to have one more class name, that is category-color, and here I am going to use item.category. Okay, Now after this we are going to have a span tag with the class name title. So here we are going to show the block title. So item dot title, and here we have to add one more class name, that is py-2. Let's format this one first. And after this span tag we are going to have some more information about the block, like author and when this blog is created. So we are going to have a span tag with the class name meta info, and inside this span tag we are going to have p tag with the class name author, and here we can have our author, like which person is created this blog, and here we can have our blog creation date. So here we can use item dot timestamp, and we have to convert it to date, because if you look at our Firebase database, so if you look at our Firestore database, so date is something is written in this way. So we have to convert this one in proper date format. So I'm just going to use here JavaScript method, so to date, and we have to use here to date string. So you will get day along with date. Okay, so after this div we are going to have one more div with the class name short description. Okay, and here we can have our description. So item dot description, so we can use here curly bracket. Now you will notice that this description is very long in our Firestore database, as you can see that. So we have to sort this description, so we are going to use excerpt. So I'm just going to create one function helper method here in our utility folder under index.js file. So here what we have to do, so we can use this excerpt method, a helper method, which will basically sort our description on our home page. Okay, so we can write this logic, okay, to sort the description, and we can use this excerpt in our component, that is blog section. So here we can bring that excerpt. Okay, so VS Code automatically import this excerpt utility method for me, and here this excerpt basically receive the string along with the count, like up to how much letter you wanted to display. Okay, so I just wanted to show 120 letter. Okay, so we can pass here 120. Now after this div we are going to have one button with the class name btn -read, and here we can give the value like read more. Okay, and after this what we have to do, so after this button we are going to have our delete and edit button. Okay, so here we can have one div, so we have to just give one inline style, that is float right. Okay, and inside this div we are going to have our font awesome. So we can have name here. So first it's gonna be delete button, so I'm just going to give trash, and I'm just going to use a style. So here we can have margin 15 pixel. Let's give cursor pointer, and we are going to have size. So I'm just going to give size here 2x. Okay, now let's copy this one, let's paste it one more time, because we are going to have update icon as well. So this will be edit, and let's remove this one, and the rest of the thing will stay as it is. So this component is ready. Now we need this blocks and user from our home page. Okay, so first let's get all block that we have in our Firestore database in this home.js file. So from home.js file we are going to send all this detail. So here what we have to do, so now we have to provide our all block to this component, that is block section component. So we have to bring all the block that we have in our Firestore database. So first let's bring that use state and use effect, and here I'm going to define some state here, that is loading, set loading. Okay, and it will be true. Okay, after that we're gonna having a state for our block. So I'm going to store all the blocks in this state. It will be empty array. Now we have to run one use effect, and inside this use effect we are going to have one method unsubscribe, something like this. And I'm going to use here on a snapshot from Firebase Firestore. So VS Code automatically import all this helper method for me, and inside this on snapshot we are going to have our collection, and in collection I am going to pass db and collection name, that is blocks. Okay, and after this we are going to have a callback method, that is a snapshot, and here I can have one list empty array, and we can run here a snapshot dot docs. Okay, and here we have to use for each method, and we are going to run for each method on each doc, and we can simply do like list dot push. So first we want id. Okay, so we can get the id like this way, doc dot id, and then the rest of the data, so doc dot data. Okay, after this what we can do, so we can just do like set blocks to list. Okay, so this list contain all the block that we have in our Firestore database, and after this we can have error method as well. So error, if you have any kind of error, so we can just do a console log, and this use effect will have a empty array dependency. Now let's format this one first, and after that we have to also write a logic to unmount. So we can just do like this way, return, and we can just do like unsubscribe. Okay, now we can check this one whether we have our blocks or not. So we can just put here console log 1. Let's save this file and let's go into the browser. Let's refresh this application, open the console. So now you can see that we got 2 blocks. This is the 2 blocks that we have in our Firestore database. Okay, so now we can pass these blocks to our block section component. So we can remove this one, and we can bring that blog section component, and we can pass this blocks, okay, all the blocks. Now in this blog section component, we have used some additional class name here, so we have to provide the CSS styling in our Sass file. So let's go to the Sass file first, and here I'm just going to put one comment. So here we are going to have styling for our blog section, okay. So this all styling I'm going to use for our blog section. So you can see that this much styling we have to use for our blog section. So from here it start, and you can copy all this styling by pausing this video, okay. So here just I wanted to save some time by writing all this styling. So you can copy all this styling by pausing this video, okay. So let's save this one, and let's go into the browser first. Let's close this one. So now you can see that we got our this blog. So we have image, we have category, we have blog title, and we have to adjust few things again in our blog section component. So it should not be like this way. So let's go into VS Code, and here, so here I wanted to give a separator here kind of, and it should be text start. So I'm going to add this class name, and let's first go into the browser, and we need some space between this separator, okay. So what we can do here, so we can give here ampersand NBSP. Let's go into the browser. So now we have some space, okay. So you can see that this timestamp is also get converted properly, okay. So this block section part is completed for now. We will still have to do some more code adjustment in this block section component, but we will do later once we implement the detail page along with update and delete functionality. So we will come back later to this component, and we will adjust our this block section component. So after that I will start working on our detail page in this application. So once user click on this read more, so he will navigate towards this detail page of this particular blog. So first I'm going to work on our detail page section, okay. So now we are going to work on our detail blog page in this application. So let's go to this detail.js file, and here we need to bring use state and use effect, and we are also going to need use param from React router DOM, because we are going to show that blog detail page based on the ID. So let's bring this use param. After that we need to grab the ID with the help of this use param. So let's bring this ID, and we have to run a use effect here. This use effect run when we have the ID, okay. And here if we have the ID, then I'm going to run a function here, that is get blog detail, which yet to be defined. So I'm going to define below this use effect only. So const get blog detail, and it will be async. Here first we need the document reference, because we are targeting the single document. So here we have to use doc from Firebase Firestore. So VS Code automatically import that one, and then we need DB, and we have to target the collection which we have in our Firebase and ID. So here we have to pass the ID. Now we got this document reference. Now with the help of this document reference, we will get our single blog detail. So here let's have a variable called blog detail, and here we can use a wait, and we can use here get doc. So it will basically give you the single document from the collection, and here we can pass this document reference. Now we have got our single blog details, so we can store them in a state. So let's first define here state 1. So const blog set blog use state, it will be null. Okay, and here let's just add like set blog detail dot data. Okay, and after that we have to also use here set active. So let's pass here set active method, that is detail. So here our detail, so I can just copy this one, I can just paste it over here. Let's go to this detail page. So why I am using here set active, because once you on detail page, so for detail page we don't have any kind of header link, so we can just disable this one. Okay, so in that case we can just do like set active and it will be just null. Okay, now let's work on the design part. So let's remove this one, and here I am going to have one div with the class name single. Inside this div I am going to have another div with the class name blog title box. Okay, and inside this div I am going to have one more div with overlay. Okay, and inside this div let's have some inline styling. So inside this inline styling I am going to have my background image. Okay, so background image, and here we have to use URL. So I'm going to use here URL, and I can just pass my that blog. Okay, so I can use here single quotes, and inside that I'm going to write here blog dot image URL. Now this overlay div will be empty. So after this div we are going to have one more div with the class name blog hyphen title, and inside this we are going to have a span tag. Okay, and inside this span tag first I'm going to show the time. So blog dot time stamp dot to date. So again we have to convert the date to date string. Okay, now after this span tag I am going to have one h2 tag, and I can give here blog dot title. Okay, now after this div we are going to have one more div with the class name container fluid pb-4 pt-4. Okay, and we are going to have padding, one class name padding, and then blog single content. Now inside this div what we have to do, so let's have one more div with the container only and one more class name, that is padding, and here I'm going to have one more div with the class name row mx-0, and here I'm going to have one more class name called md-8. And first I'm going to show our meta info like author name and date time. Okay, so what we can do over here, so we can have a span tag with the class name meta info and another class name that is text start. Now inside this span tag I'm going to have like this blog is created by author name, so p author, and inside that I'm going to put like blog dot author, and after this again I can have one separator here and we can give here space like nbsp, and below this I can copy this one. Okay, let's format this one. Okay, so after this span tag we are going to have a p tag with the class name text start, and here we are going to have our blog description, so blog dot description, and after this div we are going to have one more div with the class name called md3, in which we are going to show our tag and most popular section. Okay, so let's just give here heading. Okay, so this one is almost ready. Now we have to add some styling for this class name that I have added over here. So let's go to our Sass file, and here let's give some comment first, detail. Okay, so now I'm going to paste the styling for our detail page. So I need to put this styling, and we have also overlay one class name here. So I'm going to add the styling for the rest of the class name that I have used in the detail page. So I have just pasted the styling, you can see that, and you can remove this one, this is not required. Okay, so let's remove this one, and you can copy all this styling by pausing the video. So you can copy all this styling, and this one is got repeated, so I can remove this one. So in order to verify detail page, so first let's go to this component block section. So we have to add the link on our read more button. So this is our read more button. Okay, so you can see that we have this read more button, so I can use your link, and we can wrap this button with link, and we can just navigate towards our detail page. So here we can give detail, and we have to include the ID, so item.id. Let's first go to our home page, so we can refresh this application first, and let's click on read more. So now you can see that we got our image, and here we got our details like this block is created by this John Doe, and date, and the description of this blog. And we are not getting the whole image, as you can see that in our home page. So what we can do, so we can increase the height little bit, so let's increase to 700. Now let's go into the browser, let's click on read more again. So now it's looking fine. Okay, you can see that. So detail page is completed almost, so we have to work on this tags and most popular section. So we will work on those section later. Okay, But first we have to work on the functionality like delete and edit block in this application. And before we perform this delete and edit operation, we have to add a spinner in our application. So let's add that one. So guys, now I'm going to start working on our spinner component first in this application. So I'm going to create one file here. And let's generate a React snippet. And here let's have a div with the class name spinner hyphen border text primary, then empty hyphen 5, then spinner. Now inside that I'm going to have a span tag, and let's give here class name visually hidden. Okay, and here it will be just loading with 3 dot, and here let's give role status. Okay, so this is done, and I'm going to add the styling for this spinner in our Sass file. So I'm going to put a comment here home, and let's add the styling for our spinner. Now this component is ready, and we can use this component in our home page. So let's go to this home.js file, and here we haven't used this set loading. Okay, so once we get our all the blocks, so we can set this loading to false, and here also we have to check like if we have the loading, then we have to show the spinner. So let's bring the spinner component. So VS Code automatically import that one, and we have to also do one more thing. So this home page is also going to receive set active and user. So let's use this set active here. So set active, and it will be home. Okay, and we are going to pass this user to our blog section, because we are going to implement delete and edit functionality in this application. So we need this user as well to our blog section component. Now let's go to this app.js file, and in the home page we have to pass this set active. Okay, and we have to pass the user as well. Let's save this one, and let's go into the browser, refresh this one. So now you can see that we are getting spinner. So this part is completed now. Now we will start implementing the delete and edit functionality in this application. So guys, now we are going to implement the delete functionality in this application. So user can also delete a blog in this application. So from this page we are going to handle delete. So let's define one function here, handle delete. So first it will be async, and it's going to receive ID from our blog section component. And here first I'm going to give some kind of pop-up confirm message to user. So window.confirm, and message you can give like, are you sure you wanted to delete that blog? Okay, if you click OK, then he will basically come inside this if condition, and here I can use here try catch. So first set loading will be true, and here we can use await delete doc. So we can use this method from Firebase Firestore, and here we have to pass this doc. Okay, and here we have to pass the DB, and we have to pass the collection, that is blocks, and we have to pass the ID. Now we have to also make set loading to false, and Let's define the catch block as well. So just put here console.log. Let's format this one, and I'm going to pass this handle delete to our block section. Now let's format this one, and let's go to this block section component, and here I'm going to receive that handle delete. Okay, and here we have to use that on click method, and we have to pass the ID. So handle delete, and we can pass the blog ID here which we wanted to delete. Now we can try this one. So let's go into the browser, refresh this one, and in order to delete the blog you have to first log in into this application. Okay, so that's why I have bring this user. So here we need to check whether user is logged in or not, then only he can delete the blog. So first we need the user ID. So user dot uid, and we have to also match with the ID which is created by this John Doe user. So if the ID is matched, then only the delete and edit icon will display. If another user logged in our application, so he cannot delete the other block which is created by different user. So I'm just going to quickly create one more user in this application. So I'm going to create a user here like John Wick. Let's give Wick here in last name, John Wick @gmail.com. Let's give password 123456 123456. Let's click on sign up. So user is successful login. Now I'm going to create block with this John Wick user. I'm going to create a technology blog. Okay, so tech blog, and here we can give like IT or tech. Okay, something like this tag I'm going to put here. Let's give yes. Let's select category technology. I'm going to paste some long description. Let's add one image. Let's wait for this button to enable, and let's click on submit. So our blog is created. You can see that with this John Wick. Okay, so what we have to do over here, so I'm logging with the John Wick, so I cannot delete this John Doe blog. Okay, so we have to also protect this blog because this blog is created by this John Doe user, not John Wick. So here we have to also match the ID. Okay, so what we can do over here, so here first we can check like if we have the user that contain the ID, that means user is logged in our application. And the second thing what we have to do, so we have to check with item dot user ID. So you can see that in Firestore database we have here user ID. So we are going to match with this user ID with this UID. Okay, so if it's matched with this current logged in user, then only we are allowing to delete or update the blog. Now let's put this entire div inside this. Okay, now let's save this one and let's go back to browser, and you can see that now we are seeing only this delete and edit button for this blog because this blog is created by this current logged in user, that is John Wick. Okay, so I'm going to log out from this application first, and let's go to this home page. Now you won't see those two icons, that is delete and edit, because we are not logged in into this application. So I'm just going to log in with the user, that is John Doe. Let's click on sign in. Now you can see that we are not able to see the icon for this blog because this blog is created by John Wick, not John Doe. So let's delete the first blog. So let's click on this icon. Now let's click on OK. So now you can see that delete block is working in this application. So we have implemented the delete functionality as well in this application with the help of Firestore in React. So guys, it's time to implement the update functionality in this application. So in case of update, we have to populate the existing value into each respective input field, and we have to update the heading as well. So it will become update block, and the value of button will also get changed from submit to update. So let's do all these changes first. Okay. So if you go back to this home page and if you click on this edit icon, so you have to navigate towards this add edit blog page. So at the moment we haven't used link on this icon. So let's first add the link on this edit icon. So here I'm going to add the link to this edit icon. Let's cut this one and put inside this link. And we have to give the path update and we have to provide the ID. Now let's go back to browser first, and if you click on this edit icon, so you can see that we are navigating towards this create blog page. So this is working. So next thing, we have to populate the existing value for all this different input field. So we have to go back to this add edit blog, and here first we need to grab the ID. So you can see that we have ID here in our URL. So we can grab this ID with the help of use param. So let's remove this unused import statement first, and we have to bring the use param from React router DOM, and we have to grab the ID. So let's grab the ID, use params. Here we got ID. So we have to run one more use effect. So this use effect only run once we have the ID. And if we have the ID, then I'm going to run one method here, that is get blog detail. Okay. Let's define this function here, get blog detail, and it will be async only. And here first we need document reference. So doc db, so we have to pass db, we have to pass the collection names and ID. Now we have got our document reference. So here we have to use snapshot await get doc. From Firestore we have to use this method, and we can pass here doc ref, that is document reference. And here we have to check if snapshot.exist. That means if we have the data, then we can just do like set form, and here we can just do like snapshot.data. Let's format this one first. And here I also wanted to make the active state of header link to null. Okay, so I think we haven't bring the set active here. So let's bring the set active here as well for our add edit blog. So let's go to this app.js file, and in case of update we need, okay, so set active, because we don't have any header link for update. So in that case I don't want header link should be active. So let's save this one first. Let's go to this add edit blog, and here we can just make it null. Okay, and we have to also do a few more changes. So we have to update this heading. So if you have the ID, that means we are in edit mode. So in that case it will be update blog, else it will be create blog. Same thing we have to do for our button as well. So this is our button, and here let's do like, if you have the ID, then in that case the value of button will be update, else it will be submit. Let's first save this file and verify whether we are able to populate the value into each respective input field or not. So doc is not defined. Okay, so I think doc is not getting imported from this Firestore. Okay, so let's bring the doc. Let's save this one and let's go into the browser. So now you can see that we are able to populate the existing value into each respective input field. So for title we got this title, we also got tag. Okay, so all this working. And image file you cannot populate because input file doesn't have the value. Okay, so if you're using type as a file, so value does not exist for this input. Okay, so it won't work if you have the type file. Okay, so we have successfully able to populate the existing value into each respective input field. Now we have to update this blog. So we have to write the logic in our handle submit. So here what we can do, so if you don't have the ID, that means user is adding a new blog. So we can put all this logic inside this if condition. Okay, now if you have the ID, then it will go else part. That means user is try to update the existing blog. So we can just copy this one and we can just paste it over here, and here we have to do some few changes. So it will be update doc. Okay, and here it will be doc, not collection, because we are targeting the specific document, and here we have to pass that ID, and then the rest of the thing will stay as it is. And one more thing I wanted to do over here, so we have this if condition, and if any field is left empty by user, so I just wanted to throw an error message. So we can copy this error message from our auth.js file. So error message, I just wanted to return this one. Let's just paste it over here. So we have to paste inside this else part. We have to bring this toast, okay, from React Toastify. And I also wanted to add the notification when you create a blog or update a blog. So what we can do here, so here we can give like toast.success, and we can give like blog created successfully. So this message I wanted to display once user create a new blog in our application, and in case of update the message will get modified. So here let's give like updated, and I also wanted to give this toast notification when we upload the image. So here once we get the downloaded URL, so in that case I wanted to show like toast.info. So we can inform the user like image is uploaded successfully to Firebase. So image uploaded to Firebase successfully. And same kind of message I also wanted to give once we delete a block from our application. So let's go to this home.js file, and here we are deleting the block. So we can give a message like block deleted successfully. So let's bring that React Toastify as well in this home.js file. Now let's go into the browser and perform the update operation in this application. So now let's try to update our blog, and let's give your title like update. Let's give your test. I'm going to select this radio button and let's click on update. So we are getting this error message because we have used here file. So once you upload the image to Firebase, so ultimately we are getting this image URL. Okay, so from this if check we can remove this file. Okay, and we can try to update this record again. So let's go into the browser and let's give here update. Let's give here test only. Let's select this radio button and let's click on update. Let's close this one. We got the message like blog updated successfully, and here also our blog getting updated. You can see that title got updated, and we can also verify rest of the field by clicking on this icon. So you can see that we have successfully able to update our existing blog in this application. So guys, we have successfully able to implement the update functionality in this application with the help of Firestore in React. So now it's time to work on our other section as well, that is tags and most popular section. So let's work on this section. So now I'm going to start working on our tag section. So I'm going to create one file here, that is tags.js. okay, and I'm going to generate a snippet over here. So this tag component is going to receive a tag from our parent, that is home.js file, and here we can remove this one first, and inside this div we are going to have one more div and one more div with the class name blog heading, then text -start, then py-2, then mb-4, and let's give here tags only. Now after this div we are going to have a div with the class name tags only, and I'm going to map our all tags. Okay, now here I'm going to have a p tag with the class name tag. Let's give key here. So I'm just going to use your index. So let's give your index as well. Inside this p tag I can just have our tag. Okay, so this tag component is ready. Now we have to pass this tags from our home.js file, because here we have our tag. Okay, so instead of using this heading we can just bring our tag components. So tags, and here we have to pass our tags. Okay, so we haven't tried the logic to get the tags from our Firestore. So first I'm going to define a state. So it will be tags, set tags, it will be empty array only, and here let's define let tags equal to empty array, and here what we can do, so tag dot push, and here we can get the tag by this way, doc dot get, and here we have to pass the property name, so property name is tags only. So by this way we will get our tags from our Firestore. After this, what we have to do, so tags may be duplicate whenever user create a blog in our application, so we need unique tag. So I'm just going to have one variable here, unique tags, okay, and here we can just spread out new, and we can use here set for uniqueness, and we can pass here tags, okay. Now we can set the tags, okay, and we can pass here unique tags, okay. So we have completed this one. Now let's pass this tags to our tag component, and we have passed this tags, okay, to our tag component. Now we have to add some styling for all this class name in our Sass file. So let's go to the Sass file, and here I'm going to have our tags, okay. So inside that I'm going to add the styling related to tags. So this much styling I'm going to use for our tag component. So you can copy this all styling. Now let's save this file and let's go into the browser first. So now you can see that we got our tag section here, okay. At the moment we have unique tags, so I'm just going to create one more blog and I'm going to add duplicate tags, okay. So I'm going to add this take and test, okay. So let's create one more blog. So I'm going to create a blog related to technology only. So new laptop got launched, okay, something like this. I'm going to give heading, and let's give a tag like laptop, and the duplicate tag we have like test, we have IT as well, I guess, and tech also we have, and let's select yes, let's select this technology, and I'm going to put a long description. So I'm going to paste the long description over here. Let's select image. So I'm going to select this image, and we got the message like image uploaded to Firebase successfully. You can see that, and let's click on submit. We got the message like blog created successfully, and we got our blog. You can see that, and you can see that here we haven't got our duplicate tags, okay. So this logic is working that I have used here in home.js file. So we have used some repetitive tags while creating this newly blog, okay. So we have completed this tag section. Now we have to work on this most popular section as well in this application. So now I'm going to start working on our most popular section in this application. So let's create a file here, most popular .js, and let's generate a snippet, React snippet. So here we need to bring first use navigate from React router DOM. So let's bring use navigate from our React router DOM, and after that first let's store the reference of use navigate into a navigate variable, and first store the reference of use navigate into a navigate variable, and we need to store the reference of use navigate into a navigate variable. So let's do that one, and this most popular component will receive all blocks from our home.js file. And after this, let's remove this one. We are going to have one div. Inside this div, we are going to have a div with the class name, blog heading, and text hyphen start pt hyphen 3, then py hyphen 2, then mb hyphen 4. So the heading will be like most popular. Now after this div, we are going to have our all the blocks. So I'm just going to map each block item, and here first I'm going to have a div with the class name row pb hyphen 3, and I have to also provide the key. So item dot id, and here first I'm going to have a div with the class name col hyphen 5 align self center. Inside this div I am going to have my image. Okay, so image with the class name most popular image. Okay, so this class name I'm going to give over here, and here you can simply use item dot title, and in the source we can use item dot image url. Okay, now let's format this one first. So after this div, we are going to have one more div with the class name col hyphen 7 and padding. Okay, now inside this we are going to have one more div with the class name text hyphen start, and let's give the another class name that is most popular font. Okay, and here I am going to have item dot title, and we are going to have one more div with the similar class name only. Here we just have to give font meta. So here we are going to have our date. Okay, so we can just copy this one. So let's go to this blog section. So we can copy this date stuff, okay, where we are converting, and we can remove this one. Okay, now let's use this navigate. So here we are going to have first inline styling, basic inline styling. So let's put cursor here, pointer, and we are going to have on click method. So whenever you click any most popular blog, so you will basically navigate towards the detail page. So navigate, and we can give the path, so blog, and it will be item dot id. So let's format this one. So let's first format this one, and I'm going to add the styling for all this class name in my Sass file. So let's go to this Sass file, and here let's put one comment. So we are going to add the styling for this most popular section. So I'm going to use this styling for this most popular section. Okay, now let's go to our home.js file, and here we have to bring our newly created most popular component. So most popular component we have to bring, and here we can pass the same blocks. Okay, because in most popular section we are showing the same block. Okay, nothing different. So let's save this file and let's go into the browser. So now you can see that we got our most popular section as well in this home page, and if you click on any blog you will navigate towards the, so we are getting no route found. Okay, I think the path is different in our app.js file. So this is detail. Okay, so let's update the path. Let's save this one and let's go into the browser. Now let's click again on this blog. So now you can see that we are successfully able to navigate towards the detail page of this blog. Okay, now next thing, I wanted to implement the same thing for our tags and most popular section on this detail page. Okay, so I'm going to start working on this part as well. So let us start working on our tag and most popular section on our detail page. So let's go to this detail.js file. So here again we need this tags and blocks in our detail page as well in order to show the tags and most popular section. So I'm not going to use this approach to get our tags and block in our detail.js file. I will use different approach to get all these tags and block. Okay, so I don't want to repeat all this thing in this detail.js file in order to get tags and block. So I will go with different approach in this detail.js file to get our tags and block. So here first I'm going to write one use effect, and this use effect will have empty dependency, and I'm going to define some state. So here again we need all the blocks. It will be empty array, and we need tags as well. So tags, and it will be set tags. Now inside this use effect I'm going to have one function that is get blocks data, and this will be async. Now inside that first we need block reference. So we can use here collection from Firestore. We can pass the DB and the collection name. Now here we need all the blocks with the help of this block reference. So await get docs block ref. Okay, now we can set the block here. So set blocks, and we can use here block dot doc, and we can map here each document. So we can give here ID first, doc.id, and then we are going to spread out rest of the data. So this is another approach to get all the blocks from our collection, and you might be wondering why I haven't used this approach in home.js file. So I wanted to show you the different approach to get all the data from our Firestore database. So you can get all the block with this approach, and you can get all the block with this approach as well. Okay, so it's up to you which approach you follow. So now we got our all blocks. Now we need tags as well. So for this one what we can do, so we can define one variable here, let tags is equal to empty array, and again we can use here like blocks dot doc. Okay, and again we can do like map, and we can map each doc, and we can just do like tags dot push, and we can just spread out doc dot get, and here we can pass the property name, that is tags. Now we also need here unique tag, so again we can do like let unique tags is equal to spread out new, and I'm going to use here set. After that we can set the tags here, and we can give here unique tags. Now after this we can run this method, so get blocks data. Let's save this one, and here let's bring those two components. So I'm just going to bring the tags component, and here I can pass the tag. Same thing I'm going to do for most popular section as well. I'm going to bring this most popular component, and I can pass the blocks. So let's save this file, and let's go into the browser. So now you can see that here also we got our tags and most popular section. So we have implemented this tags and most popular section as well on this detail page. So this is completed as well in our application. Now next thing, we are going to work on this trending section in this application. So guys, now I'm going to start working on our trending section in this application. So first I'm going to create a component here, that is trending.js, and let's generate a React snippet. And after this we need to bring all carousel from our React all carousel. So we need to bring this all carousel from React all carousel. Okay, after this we also need to bring link from our React router DOM, and we have to also bring the CSS file for this all carousel. So I'm just going to paste the two import statement for this all carousel. So I'm just going to paste the import statement in order to bring the CSS file for our all carousel. Now this all carousel is going to receive a blocks. Okay, and here after this we have to work on our design part. So I'm going to use here fragment, and I'm going to have div here. Inside this div I'm just going to copy this one, so this is common for heading part. Okay, and let's just paste it over here, so it will be trending. So heading will be trending. After this what I'm going to do, so I'm going to use here all carousel, and I'm going to give here class name all theme, and inside this old carousel I am going to map blocks which I am getting from our home.js file. So blocks dot map, and I'm going to map each block here. After this I'm going to have a div with the class name item dot px-2, and here we have to use id, and here I'm going to use key first. So I'm just going to provide the id. Inside this div I'm going to use a link, okay, which will again navigate towards the detail page. So let's specify the path, so detail, and it will be item.id, and inside this link I'm going to have a div with the class name trending image position. Now we are going to have one more div with the class name trending -image size. Okay. Inside this, I am going to use image tag with the class name trending image relative, and in the source I am going to use item dot image URL, and in alternate I am going to use title item dot title. Let's format this one first. After this div, we are going to have one more div with the class name trending image absolute. Okay, and this will be the empty div only. And after this div, we are going to have same div. So here just I am going to modify class name, so it will be 1, and inside this div we are going to have span tag with the class name text white, and here I am going to put title, so item dot title, and after this span tag we are going to have a div. After this span tag we are going to have a div with the class name trending meta info. Okay, now inside this div I am going to have my author like item dot author, and I'm just going to put here separator, and inside that I'm just going to put the date. So we have to format the date which we are receiving from our Firebase. So I can just copy this one and I can just paste it over here. Okay, so we are almost done with this component. After that we have to also make responsive this carousel component. So for that what we can do, so here we can have one object here const options. Inside that I can have loop which will be true, margin I can give here 10, new I can give here true, and responsive we have to give here, so 0, and it will be like item 1. Okay, after that it will be 400, items 2, then I can give here 600, items 3, and then 1000, items 4. I can pass this option here in this old carousel component, so we can just pass like this way. Okay, now we are done with this trending section component. Now we need to get this all blocks from our home.js file, and this should contain only those blocks whose trending is yes. Okay, so whose trending mark as yes, we are going to show only those blocks. So at the moment we have this block is yes, so trending set to yes, and this is also trending set to yes, and this is also trending set to yes. Okay, so we will create one more block with trending no. Okay, so first let's work on our home.js file. So first let's work on our home.js file. So we need to get all those blocks whose trending is yes. So here what we can do, so here first I'm going to define one state. So let's give here trend blocks. Okay, set trend blocks use state I'm going to use over here, and it will be empty array. Now I am going to define one function here, method. So get trending block, and it will be async. Inside this, first I need the blog reference, and I'm going to use here collection db blocks, and I'm going to use here query. So let's use here like trend query. So we need to query our Firestore database. So I can bring the query from Firestore, and here we have to pass the blog reference, and here we can use where from our Firestore. So make sure this all thing is imported successfully from our Firestore. So it's imported. Now we have to pass the property name. So we are targeting trending field. Okay, so we are targeting the trending field in our Firestore database. After that, we have to use this equal sign. So we have to match, like if it's contained yes, then only bring those block. Okay, after this we have to do like const query snapshot equal to await get docs, and here we have to pass that trend query. Now let's define here a trend blocks empty array, and we are going to use here query snapshot dot for each, and here we are going to have our document. Each document we are going to push inside this empty array. So trend blocks dot push, and first we have to put the ID for each block, and then we can spread out data like this way. Now we can set this trend blocks to trend blocks. Okay, now let's format this one, and I can use here get trending blocks here, get trending blocks, and you can use the same thing here under this unmount phase. So get trending blocks, now what we have to do next thing, so we have to bring our trending component. So let's bring this trending component. Now here we have to pass our all blocks. Okay, so we can pass this trend blocks. Let's save this file and verify in our browser. So let's go into the browser and refresh this one. So we are getting some problem, cannot read property of undefined. So guys, we are getting this issue because we have to bring jQuery as well in our React application. So what we can do, so we need to bring jQuery as well in this React application. So let's go to this index.html file, and here I'm just going to paste a script related to jQuery. So this script we need to add, then only our old carousel component will work. So let's go into the browser. Now you can see that this is working. So we have to add the styling that we have used inside this trending component. So we have to add some styling. So let's go to our Sass file, then only it will look much better. So I'm just going to give here comment here trending, and I'm going to paste the styling for those class name that I have used inside our trending component. So this much styling we have to use for our trending component. So it start from here. Okay, so you can copy all this styling so this much styling we have to use for our trending component. I hope you have copied all this styling. Now let's go into the browser and refresh this one. So now you can see that we got our this trending section, a nice trending section with image along with title and date and author. And we also need here navigation as well. So what we can do for that, let's go to our trending, and here it will be nav not new. Okay, so let's save this one and let's go into the browser, refresh this one. So we are still not able to see the navigation because we have to add one more blog. So we have to show the navigation. So I'm just going to add one food blog. So food blog, let's give here tasty food. Okay, let's give here food. Okay, let's give here one more tag, that is meal. I'm going to mark it yes. Let's select food. I'm going to paste long description and I'm going to add one image. Let's click on submit. So now our blog is created successfully, and here we got our food blog. You can see that, but still we don't have navigation. So I'm going to add one more blog here, and this will be business blog. Let's give here meeting, something like this, people. Let's click on, let's mark it yes. Let's select business. I'm going to paste long description. Let's add one image file. So I'm going to add one this file. Okay, for now let's add this file and let's click on submit. So now our blog is created, and now you can see that we got navigation here. That means we have more than 4 blocks. So in that case we got our navigation. So you can do like this way, or you can move forward like this way. Okay, so now I'm going to add one more block and I'm going to mark that trending to no. Okay, so I'm going to create one blog related to politics. Okay, so let's give here like politics in India. Okay, something like this I can give here. Let's give here tag like election India. Okay, something like this I can give tag. Let's paste long description and I'm going to select one image. So let's select this image. And the spelling is wrong here, so it will be politics. Okay, now let's click on submit. So our blog is created successfully. So you can see that here we got our blog, but if you look at our carousel component, so we don't have that blog because we have select trending no for that blog. Okay, so you won't see politics blog here in our old carousel component. So this is working, you can see that. And if you click on any card, okay, so let's click on this one. So you will navigate towards the detail page. So this is all working, you can see that. So we have implemented this trending section as well in this application. Now I'm going to work on our not found page, okay. So for this I'm just going to add one image folder here. So I'm just going to paste the image inside this public folder. So I have just dragged the image folder and I'm going to put inside this public, okay. So inside this image folder I have all the image that I have used so far in this application, okay. So here we have one more image like 404. So if URL is not matched, then we are going to show not found page, okay. So inside this not found, what we have to do, so we are going to have div and I'm going to use your image. Let's give source here like, so this will be our source, okay. So we have our 404 image inside this image folder, okay. And in alternate we can just give like page not found, okay. Now let's save this file and verify this one as well in our browser. So I'm going to just put here some random URL. So now you can see that this is also working, okay. So we have also implemented the not found page in this application as well. Now let's work on this about page as well in this application. So I'm just going to put a dummy content for this about page, okay. So in about.js file I'm just going to have a class name here with the container and one more class name padding and one more div with the class name call md-12, and I'm going to have one more class name with the row mx-0, and inside that I'm going to have a p tag, and inside this div I'm just going to put a dummy content. So let's close this p tag as well. Let's save this file and let's go into the browser. So now you can see that we got some dummy content for this about page as well. So this part is also done in our application. So next thing, I wanted to see the responsiveness of this application. So I'm just going to decrease the screen size. So one by one I'm going to check the responsiveness of this application. So let's see this one whether it's collapsing or not. And it seems like collapsing is not working when we reduce the screen size. So first what we have to do, so let's go to the header.js file, and in the beginning we have installed one package called bootstrap, okay. So you can see that we have installed the bootstrap. So I have installed this bootstrap because this transition don't work, okay. So we have to just import the transition from this bootstrap, and we don't have to use this transition in this header component. We have to just import this one, okay. Now let's go into the browser, just refresh this application, and let's click on this bar. So it is still not working. So I think I have made some small mistake while importing the transition in our header component. So it will be transitions, okay. Now let's save this file and let's go into the browser. Now let's refresh this application first and let's click on this one. So it is still not collapsing. So let me see what is the issue. So in header component this ID should be here, okay, in this div. Now let's save this file and let's go into the browser. Now let's click on this bar. So now you can see that this time it's collapsing. but we have to change the styling for all this header link, so it's not looking good when we reduce the screen size. Okay, so it should be in order one by one. Okay, so what we have to do over here, and we have to go to this media query.css file, and here we have to add the styling related to media query. So I'm just going to paste the styling. Okay, and you can see that we have a different styling for all this class name that I have used in the header component, and we have also put some styling for other class name as well. You can see that. So for trending also we have to adjust the styling based on the screen size. Okay, so this much styling we have to add for different screen width. Now let's go into the browser and verify this one. Now you can see that it's looking good when we decrease the screen size, and this trending section should also be responsiveness. Okay, so I'm just going to this mobile mode. Okay, so now you can see that it's looking good. Let's click on this one, so it will get close. Now you can see that our blog is fully responsive. Okay, let's click on this read more as well. So this is looking nice in the small screen. Okay, so we have also achieved the responsiveness in this application as well. Now let's see some of the issue and warning that we have in our terminal. So you can see that we are getting one warning here. So we will fix this one later. First we have warning here like user ID is assigned but it never used. So let's go to this component. So let's go to this blog section. So we haven't used this user ID, you can see that. So instead of using this way user.uid, so here we can use like user ID only. Okay, and here let's replace with user ID. Let's save this file and let's go into the browser and let's open the terminal first. So now we don't have the warning, and this warning we can ignore because only this way our transition is working in this application, so we can ignore this one. And for this warning what we can do, so let's go to this add edit blog.js file, and here we have write one use effect. So let's check on which line it's coming. So it's coming 84. Okay, so here we can just put like this comment. Okay, so now let's save this file and let's see our terminal. So now you can see that we are not getting that warning, and let's do the same thing in this file as well, that is detail.js. So in detail.js we have this use effect, so we can just put that comment. Now let's open terminal. Now we are getting this one, so set active. Okay, so what we can do, so we have to include this one in our home.js file. Let's go to this home.js file, and here we can include this set active that we are receiving from our app.js file. So you can basically use this one here. Now let's save this one and open terminal. Now we have this warning like user is assigned but value never used. So let's go to this auth.js file. So in auth.js file you can see that we are getting this user when we sign in with email and password, but we haven't used this one. So what we can do over here, so let's go to this app.js file, and we can pass this set user to our auth.js file. So this is our auth page. So here we can also pass set user. Okay, let's go to this auth.js file, and let's bring that set user as well, and here we can use that one, set user. Let's save this file and see our terminal. So now we are not getting that issue anymore. So let's try to log out first from this application, because we did some changes in our auth.js file. So I'm just going to log in again with John Doe user. Let's click on sign in. So this is working. We don't have any issue after adding that piece of code. Now let's open our command prompt again, and here we got this warning. Okay, so you can see that we got like failed to parse source map. So we cannot fix this issue for this component, but we have a workaround for this warning. So what we can do, so let's go back to our VS Code, and in the root we have to create one environment file. Okay, so .env. So we have to add this one in our environment file in order to remove that warning from our terminal. So now let's see our terminal again. So this warning is still there, so you have to kill the server and you have to do npm start again. So now you can see that we are not seeing that warning anymore in our command prompt. So we are almost good to go to deploy this application on Firebase. So let's open the console first here. So you can see that in the console we are getting this warning like using unsafe component will receive props. So this warning is basically coming from this React old carousel component that we have used in this application. So that component is still used the old React lifecycle. That's why we are getting this warning. So they have used this old React lifecycle in some of their file. So that's the reason we are getting this warning, and we cannot do anything as of now to avoid this warning. So we can ignore this warning for now. Okay. So in console you can see that we have some console log as well. So I'm just going to remove all this console log before we deploy this application on Firebase. So I'm just going to search the console where we have used this console. So we have used here in header. So I'm just going to remove from header, and we have a lot of console here. So this console we can ignore because here we are checking the progress of image upload on Firebase. So this console we can ignore, this console we can ignore, and we can remove this console. So we can ignore this one as well, and we can remove this one. Okay, now let's save this one and let's go into the browser, refresh this one. So now we are not seeing any console log over here, so we can close this one. So guys, it's time to deploy our app on Firebase. So before we do deployment, I wanted to push our code to GitHub repository. Okay, so let's open this terminal, and first I wanted to generate a build folder for this project. So I'm just going to run here npm run build, and it will take 1 to 2 minutes to generate a build folder. So guys, you can see that our build folder got generated over here. So let's verify in VS Code as well. So you can see that here we got our build folder. Now next thing what I have to do, so I'm just going to create a repository here. So I'm just going to give a repository name like Firebase blog. Okay, and I'm just going to create a repository. Now next thing what we have to do, so we have to do git init. Now I'm just going to add all the file, and then I'm just going to commit. So let's give a message like build Firebase blog using React. Okay, let's hit enter. Now let's copy this one. Now I'm going to push my code. So let's give this command. So now we have successfully able to push our code to this GitHub repo. So you can refresh this one. So now you can see that we have successfully able to push our code to this GitHub repo. Now in order to deploy our app on Firebase, so let's go to this console Firebase and let's go to this hosting and let's click on get started. So you need to follow this step. Okay, so I have already installed Firebase tool globally, so you have to install this Firebase tool globally. Then next step you have to do like Firebase login. Okay, so let's open this command prompt and I'm just going to do a clear first. So first I'm going to log out from Firebase because I'm already logged in. So I got log out from the Firebase. Now I'm just going to do Firebase login. Let's give Y. So it will open new window. I'm going to select this account. Let's allow. Okay. So now we have successfully able to log in. Let's open the terminal and now let's do Firebase init. Let's give yes. Okay, and here we have to select this one, this hosting, configure file for Firebase hosting. Okay, so this option we have to select by pressing arrow down key, and in order to select you have to press space. Okay, then you have to hit enter. Then I'm going to use here existing project. So this project I'm going to use, so this React blocks app. Okay, so this project I'm going to use. Let's hit enter, and here we have to give the directory. So here I wanted to give the directory build. Okay, not public. So let's give here build, and here I have to give here Y because we are creating single page application, and this will be also Y, and this will be no. Okay, so now you can see that Firebase CLI GitHub login successful. And if you are doing for first time, so you might see different screen. So you have to just click on authorize button. So here you will get authorize button. So I have already done before, so I am getting this screen. But if you are doing for first time, so you will have to authorize first, then you will see this screen. Okay, now after that we have to give the repository name. So we have to give in this format user and repository. So we can copy this one up to this. Okay, and we can just paste it over here. Let's wait for retrieving a service account. Yes. Okay, and just hit enter, and here we have to give yes. Okay, and here let's give Y. So here it will be master only. So basic configuration is completed over here. Now we have to write a command here like Firebase deploy, and it will take hardly 1 minute to deploy our app. So now you can see that we got this URL. So let's copy this URL and I'm going to paste it over here. So now you can see that we have successfully able to deploy our React application on Firebase, and we got this URL. You can see that over here. And guys, let's try to check the feature after deployment. So I'm just going to log in this application, johndoe@gmail.com. Let's click on sign in. So this is working, and let's click on this read more. So this is also working. Let's go to home page. Let's update this one. Let's click on update. So this is also working. Let's delete this one. So this is also working. You can see that we have successfully able to delete the blog as well. Let's try to add new blog. So let's keep here like testing blog after deployment, something like this. You can give any blog title name. Let's select deploy testing. Okay, let's select here yes, and let's select category here technology. I'm just going to give here this only, this title only in description for now. Let's select one image. So I'm going to select this one. Now let's click on submit. So we have successfully able to create blog as well in this application after deployment. So you can see that we got our blog. Okay, testing blog after deployment. So all functionality is working in this application after deploying our React application on Firebase. Okay, so we have tested all the functionality in this application after deploying our React application on Firebase.